Hey, welcome to Claire's Delight for Life. I welcome you. Today. How organize? Well, depends on how we want to organize our day. And I guess I'll just pose that question to you. And as I said, I am Andrea. I am the sensible lady, the CEO and co founder of Declare's Delight for Life. I put the sensible and sensible and help you declutter the clutter in your life. Let me say today has been an organized day, but yet unorganized. You know, it kind of sounds like a contradiction there to you, but to kind of back you up as far as my day began, I had a lot of great stuff, that happened today, and the whole thing about it is that, the great stuff that, you know, was happening is I started some life planning on one sheet of paper as far as things that are going to be most important in my life. That was organizing my day, actually, organizing my life. And another one, I put my week on and organized my week, one sheet of paper. And I'll be putting these into my, helping organize myself into my Google Calendar, along with other things I need to. You know, that helps organize my day. And, just, making sure, outlining things, so things that happen, yeah, and things are, have some sense of order. Because sometimes life itself is, I have to admit, disorganized. I've had great things been happening lately in my life. I've been opening myself up to different opportunities and possibilities. And I have to admit, I am not of the same belief system that I used to have. The tattoos of what I used to have, I'm not going to go into the whole picture of it, but a lot of it has to do with my past as a child and abuse I suffered. And I changed what I believed because that related to what I had as a child. And for years, I was in that particular thing because of that. But I changed because I went back to the time, and as a result, I am much happier because of it. And I can think more clearly, which is much more organized. My day is much more organized because I can think clearly. There isn't a cloud. I didn't think there was a cloud over my head. Uh, who knows, what goes on in our soul or our spirit. There are all sorts of things that happen. But the only thing I do know is that my soul was freed. And yes, I feel like somebody's been scrubbing it with a scrub brush. But, you know, that has to happen sometimes, to, clean out all that garbage that was there and for my things to change. And life is about change. Even, when we have an organized day, even organized days change. I started out with a schedule, had to go see the doctor, found out I'm going to have to see the doctor again to get a testing on something on my leg. And the whole thing about the whole thing is that I'm having to even become more organized, as far as my life. As this week progresses, there's going to be more and more stuff happening, and I'm going to have to get more and more organized with my time. Having coming through the flu, life kind of gets messy because getting sick is messy. But the one thing I do know is because of my state of mind and how I want to treat my body and how I want to treat my spirit anymore is going to be much nicer. and kinder. And I would hope that you would do the same out there, because definitely much you treat connection. It doesn't matter whether it be people or your body or your mind or your spirit. Because when you can do those kinds of things, you have to really, for me, it means a lot to me. I mean, I prayed, and for me, it was quite different. It was quite different. And the whole thing I had to say was, I've had something happen that I have to admit was like a one spot rule in my financial life, and things changed. It changed very quickly. But the whole thing I do have to say about it is that everything's in what I call a one spot rule. And you know what? I love that. I love the one spot rule, because in a one spot rule it helps you have an organized day. Because just like my little book here, that's my organized day. That's my one spot. That's where I keep everything. It's my notes for talking to you. It's how I organize, what I'm going to write in, see things happen. That's kind of like how, things. But each of you are going to have your own way of organizing your day. But the point is, it only takes a few minutes in the morning to be able to do that. Some people say it only takes 1%. Yes, 1%, like 14 minutes a day. Okay. And if you think about all that, how much better your day can be if you take those 14 minutes out and say, hey, what am I going to do today? What is going to happen today? I know for me that having something somewhat planned, even if something unexpected happens, which a lot of unexpected things definitely did happen, and I have to admit, it was wonderful, but they were definitely unexpected. But the whole thing about it is, since I didn't really get it, as I've talked about before. But the one thing I can say to you is that have a great organized day. You really have to really think about, what do you really want? I know on my own journey today, I have to admit I got up. It was difficult to get up. It was hard to get motivated to get going. It was very difficult. The whole thing about it was, once I got started, the ball just start rolling and rolling and rolling and rolling. And, my day just kind of moved on, because having to come back from being sick, you kind of have to gradually get into things. For me, I did some self care today after seeing the doctor. I got some things done for my business, some learning. For me, it was because I was able to enrich my mind. I was able to find ways that I can make things a better service to you. And, you know, how can I say it? What I do? Because you can't help but love, you know, talking to people. I want you, yes, I want you to be a part of something even bigger. I'd like to form a group. Yes, a group. A group of people. A Facebook group if you're interested. A group of people working and interacting with each other. I'd like to see what you think of that. Because you know what? I think we could build a great community if we could. And you know what? That would be a wonderful opportunity for you guys out there to interact with one another. And for me, to interact with you, if you think about it, because interaction is important because we live in so and even my doggie is a social being. She's kind of right next door to me, and I call it wanting her mommy time, and she loves her mommy time. And if I think about that, when you have that kind of interaction with folks, it it enriches your life. And as far as I'm concerned, enriching one's life is important in today's world. And you know what? I want you to think about all that. You know, having a great organized day is more than just writing things down on paper, too. It's what goes up in the mind. Because in my mind, if we have our mind going off in several different directions, even though we have a lot on paper, we have to realize that our mind has to be in a certain state. Because, as far as I'm concerned, if our mind is like going here, here, and here, it doesn't go anywhere. It gets really confused. I know for me, I get really confused. Getting really confused doesn't help me at all. And a decluttering definitely has to happen. I have to sit and be still and close my eyes and just think of nothing. Yeah, think of nothing. That sounds like a hard to think about it. We sit here and we close our eyes and yeah, imagine, nothingness and, you know, some belief systems, talk about that, about not, thinking. But for a lot of us out there, all sorts of thoughts come into our head when we want to stop thinking. It seems like we want to even think more. But the one thing is learning to stop. Because if we learn to stop, I think a lot of times we can think better. By being able to think better, we might think that for me, personally, I get a lot more done because my mind is in the right spot. And when, like I said, that one spot rule, because my mind is in that one spot rule. And as far as I'm concerned, that is a beautiful thing because our minds are beautiful if we treat them as such. Because what we listen to, what we watch, or, what we read, or what we ingest, or whatever, has a direct impact on our mind or the people we're around, too. If you think about all those factors, so basically what we feed our mind is just as important what we feed our bodies. And feeding, to what we feed our spirit. Do we feed our spirit, positive energy? Some people think of affirmations or prayers. To me, a prayer is just a word going up to whatever you believe in. And for me, prayer is, talking to somebody. Doesn't matter whether I'm talking on the couch into the air or in my car or on a tree stump or in my backyard. It doesn't matter. I'm talking. That's all I am. That's all a prayer is, as far as spiritual. And it's very simple. It's a very simple process. And and I want you to think of it as such. And so, if you think about all these things we've come with today and my journey of today, I have to admit the journey concluded quite nicely. and that I get to enjoy a beautiful dinner with my significant other, which I'm looking forward to. And I hope the same is for you guys out there, because having people who love you is a great thing. And having other folks out there who care about you in your life is beautiful too. And having a social network and having all that good stuff. Because if you think about it, there is not a price you can put on any of it. The only price I figured you can put on anything is maybe information, if you think about it. But that's the age we live in. So, with that, I guess I'm the sensible lady's going to sign off and wish you a great declares delight for life night. Have peace, have tranquility, have love and hope, and let there be a light in your eyes. And I wish you all the best.